In a dramatic and complex international legal battle, Kilmer Armando Abrego Garcia, a Maryland resident and father of three, has found himself at the center of a constitutional crisis that touches on immigration, executive authority, and foreign diplomacy. Abrego Garcia, originally from El Salvador, entered the United States around 2011. In 2019, an immigration judge determined that although he had entered the country illegally, he could not be deported to El Salvador due to credible threats to his life from a local gang targeting his family's pupusa business. The court instead withheld his removal, a legal protection that should have prevented him from being sent back to his home country. Despite this legal protection, Abrego Garcia was arrested on March 12 and placed on a deportation flight to El Salvador just days later. The U.S. government claimed he was arrested in the company of ranking gang members and alleged he is affiliated with MS-13, a gang the Trump administration has labeled a foreign terrorist organization. However, his attorneys strongly deny any gang involvement, and at least one federal judge has expressed doubt about the reliability of the evidence used to justify the deportation. Upon arrival in El Salvador, Abrego Garcia was identified by his wife in a photo showing detainees entering CCOT, the country's massive and infamous mega prison. Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele has since refused to release him, stating that his administration is not interested in releasing individuals they consider terrorists. During a meeting in a White House Oval Office, Bukele publicly stated that while he technically has the power to release Abrego Garcia, he would not do so. "You want us to go back to releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world?" he asked, making it clear he has no intention of cooperating. Back in the United States, legal proceedings have intensified. Abrego Garcia and his family filed a lawsuit against Trump administration officials, and District Judge Paula Xinis ruled that his removal was illegal. She ordered the government to take all necessary steps to facilitate his return to the U.S. by April 7. After a legal back and forth, including an appeal to the Supreme Court, the justices upheld the judge's order but stopped short of setting a new return deadline. They asked for clarification, emphasizing the need to respect the executive branch's authority in matters of foreign policy. Judge Xinis responded with a new order requiring the administration to provide daily updates on efforts to bring Abrego Garcia back and a sworn statement from someone with first-hand knowledge of the actions being taken. Yet the Department of Justice pushed back, saying that facilitate does not require them to negotiate with El Salvador, only to remove domestic barriers to his return. They argue that the courts do not have the power to dictate how the executive branch manages foreign relations. Adding a new layer of complication, the DOJ has declared that Abrego Garcia is no longer eligible for the protection he was granted in 2019 due to the alleged gang affiliation. ICE officials say that if he returns, they would attempt to deport him once again, this time possibly to a third country. President Trump initially indicated that he would comply with the Supreme Court's decision, stating that if the court ordered someone brought back, he would respect that. However, he changed his tone during a recent press conference, deferring instead to El Salvador's authority. Attorney General Pam Bondi, Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio reinforced the administration's stance, saying that returning Abrego Garcia is entirely up to El Salvador. As the situation stands, Kilmer Abrego Garcia remains imprisoned in El Salvador, caught between two governments, shifting legal interpretations, and a broader political struggle over the limits of presidential power in immigration. With another federal hearing scheduled for Tuesday, the world watches to see whether justice will prevail or whether politics will continue to override the rule of law.